Hello, so I'm going to be summarizing what you pawn I will redeem. It's basically about Jackson, who is a homeless man by choice. Um, he was, he, he did grow up at Spoken, the reservation, and he moved to Seattle 23 years ago so that he can go to college, which he flunked out of. He was homeless. He's been homeless for 6 years, and he doesn't hate it, but he doesn't like it. It's just his choice to be homeless. Um, he doesn't say why he chose to be a homeless person, but he explains how he it's his secret and he doesn't want to share it. Basically, through the story, he goes through an adventure for like 24 hours trying to receive money, trying to get money, work for the money and stuff. But it shows how his temptations take over that, and he's not able to redeem that money. So he's walking down and he sees a pawn shop and then that pawn shop he sees a regalia. I'm not sure how you say it, but it was his grandmother's, and he goes in there and he tries to see if he can get it from the salesperson tried to convince him that it was his grandmother's and stuff. But the salesperson from the pawn shop was just like, no, the only way that you can have this is if you buy it, and I'm selling it for $900 around there. And he gave them $20, him and his three friends, homeless friends, so that they can, start off with that and see where they can get from that. But instead, he took his friends, and then they got booze with those $20. So they got really, really drunk, and within the first few hours, he lost his friends, because they passed out, and then they just didn't know where they went. Eventually, he goes to his boss, where he used to sell newspapers for. However, that boss tells him that if he's not sober, he doesn't want them selling the newspaper, which is very hard for Jackson because he does state that staying sober is very hard for him. So he tries to convince um, his boss to see if he can lend him money or if he can give him at least 1,000 newspapers to sell. His boss eventually tells him that that's not possible within a day, that it's very hard. The most people sold was like 300, and that's only because somebody helped them out with extra money. Um, so eventually, his boss gives him 50 free newspapers, and he takes those, and he's motivated to sell them, and he sells five. With those fives, he takes those $5, and then the rest he throws them in the trash. He goes to McDonald's and he buys himself food. So this just shows you that every time that he gets money, he's just gonna go ahead and keep either buying booze or buying food, instead of saving up that money or using that money to make double the money. And throughout the story, that's what repeats. Like usually something happens, he wants something, he gets it. It's the temptation that he can't control. Um, so lastly, at the end, the next following day, at the exact time, he shows up to the pawn shop, explains how he still only has $5 that he started, but it's different $5 because he actually worked for these. And the pawn shop seller eventually feels bad and just gives him the regalia and lets him keep his $5. Um, he struggles to save because of his alcoholism, and it's very hard for people that have a lot of temptations too. That's why he just struggled from being from that temptation, from also being poor and homeless, but he really wanted to have a part of his family from his grandma's regalia. Question number 2 is about the main character. He The question was the main character justified in getting his grandmother's regalia back? Defend your answer with details within the text. So, to be honest, I don't think he was trying. I mean, He was, but he wasn't. I don't know how to explain myself very well with this. It's just through the whole adventure, through the whole story, you see him get money, you see him be motivated, like, oh, look, I got this money. But then he would just give in and just go buy himself food. I mean, I understand he was hungry, he's homeless, but then he would go back and then buy booze and then eventually keep going back and forth. I just don't think that, he put enough effort, because when somebody really wants to accomplish something or is motivated for something, they're gonna go ahead and do it. Um, if I felt like throughout the time he would like, yes, I got the $5, and he would give up because maybe he just lost hope, or just, like I keep saying, temptation. I mean, he did have a chance, to try to redeem it in a different version, which was calling the police and telling them like this regalia was stolen once, and now the pawn shop has it, and was able to get it like that. But I feel like he wanted to do it by winning and by actually trying. However, his trying wasn't so much like to give in. I mean, he tried for a homeless man, but that was about it. Um, then the third question was the clerk obligated to return the regalia? I don't believe that the clerk was obligated to, but I think he was just being a human being and just, trying to understand like that it really meant something to him, because he left and with with at least money, and he came back with $5 at the exact same time that he told him to go. Um, I think it was just, like, not, I can't say like dignity or anything. It was just being like really like, just a human being, just giving hope to somebody, I guess, like, giving their part, what they really want, and it's not nothing bad or anything. The fourth question: did the main character Jackson redeem himself by the end of the story? um for this, Jackson did redeem himself. I mean, that he still, like I said, he still tried, but he didn't try hard enough. But I feel like for him, like, he did all he could. He still showed up at this exact time he said he would show. Yeah, he would. I can't even understand my handwriting. He would. Yeah, he would show up like he promised, like he said he would. He didn't show up with the $900 that he said he would try to get, but he did show up, and he did explain his situation, and he was just there for hope, like with hope that everything was just gonna be okay, and he was gonna be able to receive his grandmother's regalia. And number five, what do you think the main character will do with the regalia that he now that he has it back? To be honest, eventually, I think that he will sell the regalia for food or booze. I mean, I feel like it means a lot to him, but at the same time, I feel like booze and food is gonna mean so much more to him, because he's an alcoholic, that he will sell whatever he has just to, you know, get that booze. Because I mean, he gave up most of his life, his family, his friends, his college, his life, his career, for, just to be a homeless and an alcoholic. And that summarizes my point of view in this short story. It's very interesting because, it talks a lot about alcoholism, and how a lot of people just give up everything they have just for alcohol, and they don't have anything but alcohol, and I guess that's what matters for them. So this is my short story, and thank you.